Okay, first grade, this is going to be the easy drawing video, so if that is the one you are looking for, that is the one that you are going to be watching. If you are looking for the medium or hard, you will have to go ahead and grab those sheets and scan the correct QR codes. So just like in the video we watched last week with Austin's butterfly, this is going to be the first time where I'm having you produce multiple drafts before we actually make our piece of artwork. This is something that all artists do, whether they're semi-professional or professional. So it's just a really good habit to get into. So we have our sheet. As always, please go ahead and do your first name, your last name, and your class code. Your class code is going to be 1G for Mrs. Growth, 1C for Mrs. Colliard, or 1H for Mrs. Hurton. The first thing you're going to notice is I am using a Sharpie marker, but I want you to be using a pencil. That way if you make any mistakes or things that you don't want anymore, it's really easy to erase. It's hard for the video to pick up pencil lines, so I will be using markers, but please use a pencil. So for this project, we are going to be drawing a landscape. That's why our practices are the long, skinny way. This is the landscape way. If it was turned the opposite way, this would be the portrait way. Portrait is pictures that we're going to see of people, primarily of their face, neck, and shoulders. But we want our paper turned, and we will be drawing a landscape. Landscapes have 3 different parts. They have the foreground. The foreground is going to be the part closest to us. It's also going to look like the part of the picture that we could step into and be in immediately. The second part is the middle of our picture. That's why it's called the middle ground. The middle ground looks like it would take a little bit of walking to get that far on foot. And then the background is going to be the furthest away from us. I usually tell kids that it's going to be the part of the picture where you wouldn't be able to walk. You would need some kind of transportation, whether it was a bike, automobile, train, or plane. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start drawing our foreground for our easy picture. And we have 2 things in our foreground right away. We have 2 trees, and they're very simple shapes. So we're going to start off with a large circle, and we are going to draw 2 smaller circles inside of our big circle. So that's the top of our tree. We're going to go ahead and do the trunk. Again, basic shapes and lines. We're going to go ahead and draw 2 vertical lines, 2 lines going straight up and down. The last part of our foreground is going to be another tree. This one is going to be shorter than the first one, so it won't be as tall. But again, it'll have a large circle, a medium circle, and a small circle. We'll go ahead and we'll finish off our tree with the trunk with 2 skinny vertical lines. So this is our foreground, the part that is closest to us. So these trees are very close to us. If we were to walk into this picture, it would not take us very long to get to them, and it's something that we could touch quickly. Moving on to the middle ground, we're going to start with a hill that starts off low and then goes above the trees that we went ahead and just made. We're going to start in the corner, and we're going to slowly work our way up and above our two trees. Next, we're going to draw a tree off to the left, the same way we drew our other two trees, with a large circle, a medium, and a small. And two vertical lines for the trunk of our tree. On our way up the hill, we are going to draw a special kind of building, and we'll get more into why our trees look like lollipops and why our houses look like they have Hershey Kisses in another video. So we're going to start off with the bottom of our building, and we are going to go ahead and draw a rectangle that gets cut off by our hill. And the top of our building is going to look like a Hershey's Kiss, where it has a nice thick round bottom and a pointy top in the middle. We're going to add a few patterns to our building. We are going to go ahead and add stripes. So I'm going to add two horizontal lines and two wavy lines for the top of our building. So we have our foreground with our two trees and the start of our hill. We have our middle ground, which is the top of our hill, our tree, and our building. Now we're going to move to our background, which is going to be furthest away. We're going to add another hill towards the top that is taller than our building and meets our other hill. And in our sky, we're going to put a sun, which is a half of a circle. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3 sun rays going around our sun. So we have a completed landscape now. We have our foreground, our middle ground, and our background. The next video that you'll be watching will explain why our next rectangle has been split into 4 sections, and you will go ahead and you will start draft number 2.